Real. Alright, welcome to the Average Joe Sports Talk Show. I'm your host, Jay Real, bringing you a Friday edition of the show, and we're going to jump right in with some NFL. What we're going to be talking about this morning is a little bit of a feature, because we want to know from you, our viewers, what you feel about this particular topic. Big time. We really want to evaluate this, and we'll cover it in future shows. But let's just break it down. Johnny Manziel. We have the Cleveland Browns already trading their 2-year-ago #1 draft pick, third pick of that first round, Trent Richardson, to the Colts. Now, many fans are feeling very discouraged about this when it comes to the Browns, because they're already giving up on the season, basically. They're already saying, hey, we are going to be dead last. We want to be dead last. But the question we want to ask to you all is, why would Cleveland make a move like this 2 weeks into the NFL season of 2013? So they've already traded their best player on the team. What do you feel that means for the Cleveland Browns? What is that saying from their management to their team to their fans? We want to get feedback from you all so we can evaluate this and break it down, not just from our point of view, but from your all's point of view as well. But for right now, all we can do is give you our point of view, and here it is. Johnny Manziel. I feel, as well as a lot of our crew members, and that goes all the way to Phoenix. We talked to Jay Money the other day, and he broke it down like this, and we totally agree with them, is they're going to go all in for the Johnny football. That's who they're going to go after. That's who they want. But again, we're going to say, pump the brakes, and let's really break this thing down. Just because Johnny Manziel is an amazing, talented quarterback in college, does that translate to him being a phenomenal all-star caliber, all-pro caliber football player in the NFL? Again, we want to hear from you all, but we're going to say no. We've already seen it. Cleveland Browns have already seen what it costs to go after someone that they feel could be the next big thing, and it just doesn't work that way. Let's talk about one in particular player, Tim Couch. Tim Couch was their bright star, their first pick, their franchise quarterback, and how did that work out? I think he was in the league 2 years, 3 tops, I believe. We really need to evaluate these guys, not so much off their college performances, but maybe in the Columbine, maybe a little bit. Taking a chance on some of these guys isn't a big risk anymore because of the salary cap for rookies. So I'm not going to have a problem with Cleveland going all in with Johnny Manziel. The problem is they're already cannibalizing their franchise right now to make all these picks. They're setting up all these picks to just set them on the board and be able to make this move. And I just don't know if it's going to pan out. We can also look at, I believe it was the Saints and Coach Ditka. They gave up all of their picks to go after Ricky Williams back in the 90s. And how did that work out? It ruined the franchise for years. They just barely got out of it, thank God, with Drew Brees and this new coaching staff to where they could win a Super Bowl. But that set them back for years doing that. So we're just going to say, pump the brakes here, Cleveland. You're already making moves that are showing your hand. You're showing your hand already. It's all going to be about Johnny football. And it just doesn't make any sense. So again, that's our cut on this. We think the winners of this trade is all the Colts. Indianapolis Colts cleaned up. Why? Just again, as what JV Money said, straight out of Phoenix, they just gave up a pick in the first round that probably would have been in the late 20s, early 30s, and there's no way in the world they would have got a caliber running back as a #1 draft pick in Trent Richardson, and that's what they got for a pick that they're giving up that they could probably give 2 craps about. Now, excuse me. What does this mean for the Colts? It evens out their offense. Right now it's all been about the passing game. So their defensive schemes their defense when they're playing, whoever's on the defensive side of the ball, all they have to do is set up for the pass. Now it's going to have to keep defenses honest. They're going to have to respect the pass and the run. So let's break it down. If they want to put 8 in the box, bring up that safety, they're going to get burnt, torched by the quarterback. Andrew Luck is, every year he's getting better. Every year he's understanding. He has that Peyton Manning mentality about learning the game, learning the defense and seeing what they give you and exploiting that. That's what he's going to do if they bring 8 in the box or bring up that safety and leave that deep ball there. He's going to take it. Now let's say they don't. Let's say they just man up and they're covering the pass. That's going to leave a lot of seams, a lot of avenues, and a lot of real estate open in the field for Trent Richardson, who almost ran for 1,000 yards last year with the Cleveland Browns. No passing game, no offensive line. I mean, you want to talk about Adrian Peterson, how he went over 2,000 yards with but at least he had a line. At least he had some blockers that could block for him. This guy almost ran for 1,000 with nothing, just on his own. What will he do this year with the Indianapolis Colts and a decent team? That guy should be kissing and praying to God today that he got traded to this team. He went from a no playoff caliber team, wasn't even trying, to now a team that's going to be making a push to play deep in the playoffs with this move. We got to say Colts A, Cleveland a D. Why? Because we can't go an F, because at least they're looking at the future. At least they're going to say, okay, we're cannibalizing our whole staff right now, but in the next year or two, those picks are going to turn out to be gems. They hope will be gems for them in the future. So only time will tell, but that's our cut on this huge trade that happened a couple days ago between the Cleveland Browns and the Indianapolis Colts. Now, excuse me, moving on to other news. Last night, Thursday Night Football, it was Kansas City going into Philadelphia, the return of the coach. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, well, it's not a big deal because Andy Reid's just the coach, he's not a player. But still, folks, you got to really break this down. He was the winningest coach in Philadelphia history. This guy was the life bloodline of that team for over a decade. I mean, you cannot say that it was not a big deal for him to come back and play in his hometown against his old team. And what happened? Kansas City goes in there and just smacks them around. Kansas City's a good team, folks. And I don't know if it's just because Andy Reid walked into a good situation or if it's Andy Reid and his coaching style ability to make that team better than it was last year, which a lot of people last year thought Kansas City was going to be a good team, and they fell short. So maybe it is Andy Reid. I don't know. But this guy is doing something good there in Kansas City. I mean, they got a quarterback, they got running back, they got a defense. You just can't knock that team. Now let's look at the Philadelphia Eagles. They lose again. Michael Vick, 3 turnovers, a total of 5, I believe, 4 or 5 complete total turnovers for the team. They're not going to win like that, folks. And we really got to evaluate this. And this is what I want to ask you all and bring it to your minds and get your opinion on it, because this is about as real as I can get. Do you honestly think Chip Kelly, coming into the league, new GM, new coach, new complete offensive strategy, do you think they really want Michael Vick to be the leader of that team, the leader of that, the captain of that team for the next 4 or 5 years? He doesn't even have that many years left in him. So the way we're breaking this down right here at the Average Joe Sports Talk Show is we believe Chip Kelly is using him as an experiment to see if someone that has some speed, that can throw the ball, and that can take a hit. He's been kind of a milk bone lately, but he still takes big hits, because we feel that he is experimenting with Michael Vick, because you know what? We feel Chip Kelly's looking for the next quarterback. We feel it's not going to be Barkley. If anything, Barkley will be the backup. So that's I mean, that's just the way it is there. And they're not going to roll with the second stringer because he'll probably be off the team as of next year as well. Chip Kelly's looking for that star. Chip Kelly is looking for that young, bright guy. And I know Barkley's young, but he just isn't the speed monster that Chip Kelly's looking for. So matter of fact, don't be surprised if he's not even looking at his senior quarterback from his old college team. That's right, he's coming out next year. Be interesting to see if he takes a stab at his old quarterback from college. He likes the guy. To this day, still talks about him and reflects on him. So that's an option. We seriously doubt that they would go after someone in the realm of Johnny Football. But who knows? Johnny Football is going to have about a handful of teams that are in desperate need of him, or at least think they're in desperate need of him. But it's not going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. So with that said, it was a good game. Good job. Kansas City 3-0. I mean, you can't say enough. And then Philadelphia, they played their first game. Chip Kelly new offense was amazing. It astounded people. Wow, everyone was excited about it. They're going to the Super Bowl. Slam those brakes, folks. You cannot give someone, a new coach, a new offensive scheme, that kind of pressure. They're not built to be a championship team right now this season. Give them some slack. Let them learn what Chip Kelly's trying to revamp that whole team. That alone is going to take a season. Then you got to look at learning the scheme. Chip Kelly wants to run 70 to 75 plays a game. You're talking unheard of numbers, except for, of course, the New England Patriots get right up in that area. But it's going to take a couple years, folks, and that's why Michael Vick is not going to be the coach or the quarterback of the future. He's going to be the quarterback of right now. Let's see how this plays out and how this works for Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly is looking for his own guy to be the star for the next 5 or 10 years. So, anyway, Philadelphia is not going to be a Super Bowl contender this year. They're not built for it. They're not ready for it. So, anyway, folks, just give them some slack, let them learn, and see how they do in the next year or two. That's what we're going to say about Philadelphia. Okay, so moving on from that, we have a lot of games in the NFL going on this week. And we need to apologize to all of our Steeler Nation fans out there because we did a little bit overreact to the loss last week. And I was already kind of putting us in the books. I'm just saying we can't afford to lose too many more games in a row. If we lose this week, then I will probably have to stay with my previous comments. But if we could pull out a win, as JV Money says, and I totally agree with them, it's a little too early to hit the panic button, but we need a win, and we need it now. So we'll see how that goes. We're keeping our fingers crossed for our Steelers this week. And all of your teams. We back up all teams. I'm not trying to be, a cherry picker here just because we are Steelers Nation right here in Ruidoso, New Mexico, at the Average Joe Sports Talk Show. But we like all teams. We want everyone to do well unless they're playing our Steelers. We can't have that. So, moving on, we want to touch baseball news. The Dodgers clinched. They are going to the playoffs. Man, the Yankees are so close. They keep messing up. They keep going and then backing up, going. And now I believe they're 2 or 3 out of the wild card spot, and I just don't think they're going to make it. I don't think they're going to have enough gas at the end to pull off this kind of streak that they need. But, again, we'll see. And then our Pirates up 1 game over the Cardinals for that division. Let's go Pirates. We got to push for our Pittsburgh Pirates team and their first in 20 years winning season. What can you say? Our Pittsburgh Steelers aren't doing so well right off the gates, but at least our Pittsburgh Pirates are doing something this season. So we have that to be looking forward to. And then finally we got to wrap up. This is going to be a short show because we're at the Player Zone, folks. Not only are we in the Player Zone here in Ruidoso, New Mexico, but we have the bike rally going on here as well. If you are in the area of Ruidoso, New Mexico, come check it out this weekend. The biker rally is going on. Should be thousands upon thousands of bikes in town. You can probably hear the roaring and the thunder of them rolling down the main strip here. And it's just a cool time. Food, entertainment, bikes, girls, guys, whatever you want to get into, it's going on here at the bike rally this weekend here in Ruidoso, New Mexico. And for us, we're pretty much going to sign off and wrap up the show with a little bit of Magic information. Why tomorrow, pre-release, Theros, be here. If you're a gamer, if you want to learn how to play Magic, this is a set you are more than better off stepping into and learning about Magic the Gathering, the card game, the fantasy game. However you want to say it, it's an amazing game. It's fun for family, for kids, for big adults, little adults, whoever. It's the Player Zone hooking us up with all this, the house to come to you, bring you the show. We're excited because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be able to have this little thing for you all. And we can't forget the Average Joe Sports Show would not be here without Right on Time Errand and Delivery Service. And we have someone cool we're going to be interviewing for next Tuesday's show, so you don't want to miss it. But for right now, J Real's going to sign out. Peace and much love. Don't forget to tune in for Tuesday's show. J Real. J